I never thought I would do something so horrible. That night, rage took over me, and it just happened. My daughter Clara, only 8 years old, started crying and screaming after she broke her mother's favorite vase. I had been carrying weeks of frustration from work problems, fights with my wife, and sleepless nights. When Clara tripped and the vase shattered on the floor, something inside me snapped. I screamed louder than I ever had. She shrank back in fear, but I kept moving closer. I barely remember the exact moment. My hands closed around her neck, and I squeezed. When I came back to my senses, Clara was lying on the floor, motionless, her eyes open and her body lifeless. The silence was suffocating. My breathing became frantic, and my hands trembled. Minutes passed in a dreadful haze, and I didn't know what to do. Finally, I took her small body and wrapped it in a blanket. I couldn't leave her there, so I carried her to the backyard and dug an improvised grave under the old oak tree. Sweat drenched me, and tears blurred my vision, but I kept digging until my hands were raw. When I finished, I laid the body down and hastily covered the earth. When I went back inside, I tried to compose myself. My wife wasn't home. She had gone to visit her mother. No one had seen what I did. I decided to clean up the mess in the living room and erase any trace. But then I heard something that froze me. A faint whisper from the hallway. "Daddy." My legs turned to lead. I slowly turned around, and there was Clara, standing in the doorway of the living room, wearing the same dress she had on when I buried her. Her skin was pale, and her eyes looked darker than usual. A twisted smile crossed her face, and without saying anything else, she ran down the hallway. I chased after her, but when I turned the corner, she was gone. I checked the entire house, room by room, but there was no trace of her. I was sure of what I had done, but fear overwhelmed me. That night, I couldn't sleep. The creaking of the floorboards in the hallway kept me on edge. Occasionally, I heard faint childlike laughter coming from the garden. The next morning, convinced that I was losing my mind, I went back to the oak tree to make sure the body was still there. As I dug, I found the blanket empty. There was no body, no bloodstains, just disturbed earth and small footprints leading back to the house. In the days that followed, Clara began to appear in different places, reflected in mirrors, standing in the doorway while I ate, watching me from the garden. My wife didn't seem to notice anything strange, but I knew Clara was there, lurking. One early morning, I woke up to find Clara sitting at the foot of my bed, humming a lullaby. When I turned on the light, she was gone, but the melody kept echoing in my head. My wife woke up because of my screams, worried. I couldn't find the words to explain. The breaking point came one afternoon when I got home from work and found a drawing stuck to the fridge. It was a small figure with the face scratched out and the words "Bad Daddy" scrawled in clumsy handwriting. That night, Clara appeared again, closer this time, whispering, "You shouldn't have done it." I started questioning whether it had really happened the way I remembered. Was it a dream, or maybe a delusion? But the fear didn't go away. One afternoon, while I was alone at home, the TV turned on by itself. The image was distorted, but among the interference, I recognized Clara standing in the garden, staring at me through the window. I rushed outside, but there was no one there. However, on the glass, a small handprint remained. My mental health began to deteriorate. I started yelling at her to go away, to leave me alone, but every time I did, Her smile grew wider. The situation became unbearable when I began finding small rag dolls on my bed, with their eyes sewn shut and necks twisted. One night, I woke up with one of those dolls on my chest and marks on my neck, as if someone had tried to strangle me. Today, my wife found me crying in the hallway, mumbling that Clara was following me. She took me to the doctor, but no one believes me. They all say I'm hallucinating, that Clara died in an accident months ago. But I know the truth. I killed her, buried her, and now she's here getting closer, whispering in my ear, "Bad daddy, bad daddy." This morning, while checking my wife's phone, I found a message from an unknown number. It was a photo of Clara standing by the oak tree, smiling, with the message, "Bad daddy, I'm home." I don't know if my mind is shattered or if I'm truly paying for what I did. All I know is that every night her voice grows clearer, closer, and I fear that soon it won't just be an apparition,